Good morning and welcome to a new week of Joining the Dots. And remember, the core of this service is to find the truth. That's the core. And then from the truth that we find, we join the dots to come up with a logical explanation of what is likely to happen and therefore how we need to prepare. We can't ignore this. This is a once in a lifetime moment. And people would have said that before .com, they'd have said it before 2008. But this really is a once in a lifetime because so much is wrong, so much is broken. 2008 was a warm-up almost, where it just prepared us for what was coming because no one did anything to solve the cause. All they dealt with was the symptoms. And we see that in life nowadays, don't we? So many times, people dealing with the symptoms and not the cause. It's like putting a plaster on an arterial bleed, isn't it? You stop the blood going everywhere, but you don't stop the problem. You don't solve the problem. And too much today is covering up on the surface problems that are fundamental. So let's talk about this. But before we do, let's just revisit, and I am not recommending any of these, I do not give advice, but I gave you, when I started this service, my 3 ways of preparing for what's coming. And that was a precious metal policy and a smaller crypto policy. And Agnico Eagle, my gold mine, actually came up with some incredibly good figures this week. And I say incredibly, that's a bit too much. They're very, very good. Very solid figures, and they did extremely well, and they just continue to perform brilliantly. Pan American Silver, well, Agnico, for instance, year to date we're up 52.7, but they are down 4% from a peak of a few weeks ago. So again, I don't trade. I go for the journey. I'm not interested in sprints. Okay, I'm a marathon runner on this. There's a very certain journey, so why risk it by sprinting? You don't need to. Pan American Silver year to date up 26.4%, down 10% from a recent peak. Again, there's been a sell-off in the market. All sell-offs take all shares initially until the market can sort out the winners from the losers. And the winners in my book will be precious metals. Hence, that's where I am. XRP is much more volatile, as you'd expect. You know, it's a new industry, it's a new creation. It's a lot of people don't even understand it yet. I don't think I do, to be quite serious. However, 20% down from its peak of just a few days ago. That's how volatile it is. That's why I don't trade. Some people will say that's a good time to trade. I say no, not interested. Bought the journey. Okay, I'm still 400+% up by buying the journey. I don't need to trade and risk losing my position at the wrong time. We're still 31% up year to date. And as I say, I'm 400% up because I bought some in November at a very cheap price, 50 cents. So that's just a resume of where we are. I'd see no reason to change my strategy for me. What you do is up to you. Hopefully you'll use this information on this service as part of your research, not all of your research. That's not the way to do things. You have to work. I spent 5 years preparing to produce this site. 5 years of researching, weeding out the idiots, the fools, the liars, the deceivers, from those who are deadly serious. They might not be right every time, but they're deadly serious. And so I follow those. I don't follow the clickbait merchants. Anyway, Monday. Well, we have to start, don't we, by talking about the jobs number. We have to start there. And I talked about it on Sunday, of course. Greg Mannarino put out a superb email on the jobs collapse. And he talks about there already being a recession in the States. And I totally, utterly believe him 100%. The US is in recession. Now, the problem with the US is it doesn't follow the normal guidelines of when a recession is declared. It uses some quasi-government body to decide when they had a recession a year after they had it. The US is superb at obfuscation. It's superb. Okay, so you have to work out when the US is in recession, not be told. And when you're told, it's far too late and they're already coming out the other side. Normally, this time, I don't think so. I don't think so. This is going to be wicked. Okay, so I'm going to link below Greg's email, which went on to Substack, and I've lifted it off Substack. If I had $3 a month spare every month, I would just give it to Greg Mannarino. His service is brilliant. And if you're a trader, it's even better. If you want to trade through this, you should look at Greg's emails. They're brilliant. And he's charging $3 a month. So I'm not getting anything from that, but I'm just saying, if you want value, if you want research, if you want 40 years of experience and a real feel for what's going on in the market, $3 a month, this is a cup of coffee, honestly. So I would really seriously recommend that you subscribe to Greg's new Freedom platform, and the link below will allow you to do that. But Greg is absolutely specific. They're already in recession. Of course they are. Look at the jobs numbers. It's ridiculous. Okay. So we know a lot more than we do when we started this service. Because when we started this service, I was telling you what I foresaw coming. Now, some of it has already come, i.e. the jobs number, i.e. the delinquencies, i.e. house prices falling. It's come already. We've only been doing this for 5 weeks. So we start a new week. We know a lot more. We should do. We know that my video on Saturday, 2 days ago, the US consumer is totally, utterly tapped out, expired, or to quote Basil Fawlty, it's no longer alive, it's dead, it's gone to meet its maker. All those cliches from the Parrot sketch. The US economy is there. Okay, we know the labour market's in real trouble, and we know that US industry is dying. And again, refer to Greg's email on that. Please, link below, refer to it. He describes how the industry has been absolutely gutted. Of course, Trump is trying to bring it back, but that takes years. And all these promises and pledges of investment, yeah, okay, we know what they mean. Now, we know that a bailout is happening, and this is another one from Greg, and I'm going to send you the video and another link below, okay, to Greg's video on this, because it's fascinating. Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, the two huge mortgage providers in effect in the US, look like they're having a bailout. None of this is being discussed anywhere. None of it. Okay? This is a total of $7.7 trillion. A bailout of Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac taking place with no one talking about it. Okay? This is a sign they're already in the slump, and they're already trying to get out of the slump without even telling you that they're going to bail out two institutions for $7.7 trillion. That's not good. Okay, so that's the second link. It's Greg's video. And then I have, I think, a piece that there's a video of 4.6 minutes. This is about margin debt, and I've talked about this. Margin debt in the States, people using debt to buy stocks on margin, has reached $1 trillion. 1 trillion. Please have a look at that video. It's linked below, okay? It's only 4.6 minutes. It's not the rest of your life. 4.6 minutes to understand what's really happening. Okay, so that's all the US. Now, I want to just go back to China for a little, to finish this video. If you haven't got from me yet the fact that China has totally imploded, then either you're not listening or I'm not describing it as well as I should. The Chinese economy is collapsing in real time. Collapsing. Okay? That means 10, 15, 20%. It doesn't mean 0.1, 0.2. The Chinese say they're 5% growth. Rubbish. Absolute rubbish. Okay, so I've got a link below into the 4-year home sales slump. And we're not talking 0.1 again. We're talking 5, we're talking 10, we're talking 30%. It has crashed. And it's still crashing. Last month was the worst month for a long time. It's still crashing at speed. There's no way they can rescue this market. $30 trillion, 8 times subprime, has already been lost in wealth. You think they're growing at 5%? Really? With all the problems they've got? With sanctions, with tariffs, with export controls? You think they're growing at 30%? You think the consumer's got any money when he's lost $30 trillion worth in his house? No. It's collapsing in real time. And that throws up lots of geopolitical risks. But we'll leave it there for the moment. But please understand that, okay? The US is now in deep recession. China is in depression, but it's growing at 5% officially, okay? Yeah? We know the truth, don't we? All right, so enough for today. Thank you very much for watching. And please like these videos. Please get friends, or you subscribe. Please get friends to subscribe. Please share it. I'm trying to give you honest information based on truth so that you can make a more informed decision. That's all I'm trying to do. Thank you very much.